Oh, so I just received this package, and inside we have 2.4 gigahertz transceiver receiver NRF24L01. Here, okay, yes, no, here, come on, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I actually have already a few of those. One is in here. I stripped out all the original electronics. I'm able to be finding here. So yeah, this was like here inside. Tra-la-la-la-la. Useless. So yeah, I stripped all electronics inside and put one of these babies inside to replace the original transceiver. Yeah, quite small unit there, and it actually works pretty well. I was actually really satisfied with how simple it is to use and to program. There is one here, there is one here, this RC tank, whatever, and then there is also here. If you wonder what it is, it's actually RC car. It was used for prototyping. It has some advanced feature that I may not be able to or allowed to talk about. Let's just say it has a gyro and the wheel speed sensors, so figure out on your own. But yeah, I had a terrible crash with it. One day I may as well repair it. If you want to see more about this car, comment and I'll make an episode about what this car is capable of. Here you see it as well. How this broke off. I don't know what actually happened because I have implementation in the code that stops the car if the signal from the receiver gets lost. But in this one moment, after I powered up this car after a year, drove it around a bit, and all of a sudden it stopped reacting to my commands, and it just went full throttle ahead and crashed with the front right wheel, and that broke off. Also wheel speed sensors here. So what I had in mind is actually to increase the... Oh yeah, why did I buy more of those? So the reason I bought more of these is because I'm an idiot. Long story short, it's because I actually built this tank at the same time I built that car you just saw. I was a bit tired of that project, so I started a little project on the side, because side projects are always better. So finally, after a few years, I managed to put the battery inside this, put an Arduino 2.4 gigahertz receiver transceiver, H-bridge module, and power it up. It actually worked pretty well until I plugged out these two thingies and wanted to see if they can fit in some other project. And when I plugged it back in, I actually switched my way around this. So yeah, you can imagine having 12 volts on the digital pins instead of the ground and the 5 volt and the voltage in pins. So didn't end up really well. End up frying actually not the entire Arduino, not this one, the other one, not entire Arduino, just those two pins where the 12 volt was plugged. So yeah, make sure we plug that correctly back. And what actually got fried is this is one of those. So I was actually surprised how short of a range they have. So I saw around that there are options with the antennas. So here you get basically the same thing, but with the antenna. So I suppose you just plug it in like this, and as always with electronics, you just plug the plus and minus voltage and it always works without any problems. Yeah, sure. Okay, so one of those is gonna, oh no, come on, like this is gonna be great if I plug it like this. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this module is longer and wider than this one. Nice. We'll see how that fits, but let's see. Okay, so one of the changes is to swap the module on the vehicle. The other change would be to use that. Put that one instead of this one inside. So let's open this. Anybody got time for that?
5 minutes later.
Where are my bits?
2 hours later.
There it is. I suppose I'm gonna have to add this capacitor as well to new version, so let's do that. To be good, so this is where the previous antenna was sticking out, so through here. Let's see if I can use that old port. That'll do it. Let's try to move this capacitor from here. From here to here. Okay, so I soldered the capacitor that I used before in order to improve on the noise reduction, having a longer range and less of a cutouts. Yeah, that looks like a pro transceiver, even though inside it's crap. A bit more of this. So this actually looks like a pro antenna right there. So works. Let's try to do the same thing here. Here I have okay, so it does power on still. It does not receive anything, of course, but let's see if I now plug this thing in here. And now I can't access the power connector, of course. What the hell happened now? Well, sometimes in order to keep devices running, apparently you have to charge them. Stupid thing. Charging, but it's for idiots. Okay, so solve that with building this small standoff. I don't know if you can see it. So now I plug the thing here, and I plug this thing here. Yes. So now this is on a completely other level. What are the chances of this actually working on the first try? Let's try to fry some things up. Oh yeah, the capacitor. Let's see about that. So I'll plug it in. So as you can see. Okay, so some lights are up, some are not. Let's see when I power this thing up. Okay, after some fiddling around with the code, so I actually had to comment out the line where Arduino actually sends a button state back to this transmitter, which actually I'm not even using. So yeah, now when I power it on, it actually works. And the battery just died. Quite well. Yeah, I'm quite satisfied with the results. I'll try to test the range outside one day or in some other episode, but for now, yeah, I'm quite happy that it was that simple. There was only one problem with this whole switch from these small modules to this with antennas, and it's actually, as I mentioned, the part of the code, this Arduino on the vehicle, that's trying to read and send the button state from the vehicle to the transceiver. It actually got Arduino got stuck on that line. I will investigate probably more why, but not soon, because that's the part of the code that I actually don't even use. It's for sending the data from here to here, so that's really not that necessary for an RC car. I did a quick range test of this new setup, and results are pretty good actually. So with this standard module and the antenna and the transmitter. The range increased significantly, so before it was like maybe when you would get into another room the signal would already start breaking up, so that's like 4, 5, 6 meters. With this setup here now I was getting about 300 meters, and with the setup where both sides have the antenna extension, then I got around 450 meters. But take that with a grain of salt, because I did run test pretty quickly, didn't have too much time. So, but yeah, these are the real world numbers. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.